gentlemen who are well positioned to tell me that they've taken our future into their own hands. The future of this country lies in the businessmen who begin to make those decisions to enter business today. I have two of such businessmen, well, a businessman and woman before me. Doreen Kofi is the founder and CEO of Heighten Up, and Ernest Kweku Esifimenta is the CEO of Menest Farms. We're going to be talking to them about their business, what they've been doing so far, where they are going from here, and what help they need. Francisca Amprechum of Perfect Health Ghana will be joining us from Kumasi. Basically, they'll be telling us about their movement, as Samini sings about in the background. Lady and gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Before I go to the details of this conversation, the Ghana Revenue Authority GRA reminds all VAT and NHIL or Get Fund Levy registered businesses that the VAT, NHIL, Get Fund Levy and Communication Service Tax CST returns for February 2019 should be submitted on the VAT, NHIL, Get Fund Levy and CST return forms not later than this Friday, 29th March 2019, which is the last working day of the month. File your returns early and avoid payment of penalties. For VAT, NHIL, Get Fund Levy, the penalty is 500 Ghana cedis and a further penalty of 10 Ghana cedis per day. Each day the return is not submitted, pending the coming into use of the modified VAT invoice to reflect the delinking of NHIL and Get Fund levies from VAT. The levy registered businesses are to continue to use their stock of old VAT invoices. Now, for CST operators, late filing of returns attracts a pecuniary penalty of 2,000 Ghana cedis and a further penalty of 500 Ghana cedis for each day the returns are not submitted. Remember to submit the February 2019 return forms not later than this Friday, 29th March 2019, which is the last working day of the month, and avoid paying penalties. Hollard Life gives you the Adepa family plan. The plan, amongst many other benefits, gives free cover to 5 children and guarantees 20% return on all contributions every 5 years. No premium payment upon retirement, yet you and your loved ones will remain covered. Call 0302-799-788 and sign up to the Adepa family plan today. At Hollard Life, when we say family, we mean family. Adepa will fear. Oh yeah. Let me come now to my guests, Ernest and Doreen. Good morning, lady and gentlemen, once again.
Good morning, Daniel.
Hope all is well.
Everything is well.
Awesome. Francisca is on the line from Kumasi. Good morning, Francisca.
Hello.
Hi, Francisca, you're on air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Awesome. Let me begin with Doreen. Heighten Up Ghana or Heighten Up Worldwide. What do we do?
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel. So Heighten Up is an organization that has been set up to promote gender diversity in corporate institutions. We have 2 basic approaches we use. First of all, we seek to ensure that policies and structures in organizations are favorable to both men and women. And secondly, we equip young girls and women with skills they'll need for career advancement. So that's basically what we seek out to do. So it's a whole holistic approach. We don't just focus on making sure the environmental conditions are okay, but we seek to also equip them with skills they will need to be able to progress in their career.
So this is a social enterprise?
It's a social enterprise. Thank you very much.
But how did you choose to enter into social enterprise?
Okay, so Heighten Up began last year after I realized the trend in an organization I worked with at the time.
Okay.
So I realized the women occupy just about 15% of those positions in management.
Management positions.
In management positions. And I asked myself why this is happening. And there has to be a solution to this. Finding solutions to it actually came quite naturally. But my problem was how to tackle or implement these solutions. And it was just around that time I saw an advertisement by the Ghana Think Foundation on a social entrepreneurship training they were organizing for people who had ideas on starting social enterprises. So I applied, got selected out of about 200 applicants. We were 24 in all. We went through 2 months training, and eventually we held a pitch competition for us to submit or share our ideas. And eventually I won that competition.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I was part of the team that represented Ghana in Nairobi, Kenya. And that experience was so instrumental in my journey. I realized how young people like me, what they were doing in other parts of the world. So I realized, this is something I can actually do. All you need is a dream and people to back you up. So that was where I decided to start Heighten Up after I came back to Ghana. That was around, I guess, last year. And from there till now, we've been organizing researches, because it all begins with reports. If you don't have reports, how do you track what is going on?
Oh.
So we conduct researches, we reach out by equipping girls, like I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And so far, that's been what we've been doing so far.
Awesome.
And
congratulations on the journey so far.
thank you so much,
Okay.
Daniel.
I'll come back to you for more details, but let me go to Ernest. All you need is a dream, isn't it?
Right.
What's your dream?
Well, mine was to help the country solve some of its importation problems, food problems, and all of those things. Actually, my friend and I were doing car business. We were doing rental and all of those things. But then when we look at the importation, the money we send and all of those things, and then when the car comes, we can't sell them on time. It was like, we're not making profits if you access it properly. So I sat down and I was looking for something to do. So I went online and started doing my research and all of those things. So I landed Piggery. And then I went around looking for someone to talk to and all of those. But then what I saw, I didn't wanted to do the same. So I sent myself out there to South Africa to go and train myself professionally in the field of piggery. And then I came back, and it's been very helpful, in terms of the education I had from there and everything, So that's how come. My major dream is to help solve the importation and food problem in the country.
Wow. So when you say piggery, what exactly do you do? Do you farm and sell the meat, or what's your model?
Yeah, in starting, I intended to just breed them when they are ready, and then another person comes and buy it and go and process or whatever they want to do with it. But then I got to a point and nobody was coming, so I had to take the challenge and then start to market it myself. I believe it's an area people who are looking for opportunity to do something, they can also look at. They can also look at and then challenge themselves in that area as well. There's a whole lot in the industry that is not being. Everybody keep coming in the production. The breeding side and all of those things. You see, so marketing is a bit challenging.
When you say marketing, what do you mean?
Fine. When you have the pigs ready to sell, okay. It's supposed to be this way. From my experience from another country, it's supposed to be this way. And an abattoir comes and then pick the animals, go and slaughter it and do the supply. But when you come here, you have to do all that work. You have to go and look for who will be buying it and who will be selling it and everything. See, and the people who were coming were middlemen. They were like that kind of cutthroat thing. Prices, an animal that can be sold for maybe 500, they are looking at it like 150 or 200 cedis. It means you can't stay in business like that. And my model of operation, it will go against it because of my cost of production is a bit high because of how I do my things and all that. So I'm into the processing and other aspect that.
So you slaughter the pigs and then you sell them after you slaughtered them?
Yes, I do. I grill them, I sell them fresh, I sell live animals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. A very, very tasty conversation we're having this morning. And Francisca Mpretrim is on the line with us. She is the founder of Perfect Health Ghana. So what does Perfect Health do, Francisca?
Good morning, Daniel. So Perfect Health helps people basically to live a healthy life. And we do this through health coaching, which is helping people change their lifestyle, to prevent diseases like hypertension, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and stuff like that. And then we also do education for corporate, how their daily habits affect their health. So basically, that's what we do.
Okay, so how do you identify these people, and how did you get into this space in the first place?
Well, I'm a registered pharmacist, and I remember clearly a day where I went to work, and there was someone who came to see me with a prescription for 8 medications, 8 on one prescription. And that was the day I looked at the man and I decided that there has to be a better way. Someone has to teach people how to live healthy so that they can avoid these diseases. So basically, that's how we started the company. And we identify the people, like I said, by going to corporate and doing health education.
Over the past few days, I've been finding that no matter how diverse the industries I find my entrepreneurs in, the problems are pretty similar. You come to skill of labor, and there's also issues of funding. I'm wondering what I'm going to discover today, but let me begin with you, Doreen. Would you say that in social enterprise, you're facing the same kind of problems that Ernest would?
Absolutely, absolutely. One thing about social entrepreneurship in Ghana is it's not been popularized. So many people don't know what social entrepreneurs do. And the first thing we need to tackle is the education, letting people know. I would say it's just about 10% of people I've spoken with that actually know what social entrepreneurs do. So it begins with the government. If we can channel NGOs into social enterprises, it will actually help us. Social entrepreneurs actually tackle societal and environmental problems, but then they also focus on making profits to be able to drive their projects. So I think it's for funding, it cuts across years. Obviously, you will need some sort of funding as a startup. But then moving ahead, we need to educate people on what social entrepreneurship is and encourage them to find a means of generating funding or revenue to drive home their projects.
When you are generating funding, what's the sell? What's the value you offer in exchange for the funding?
It boils down to what you are there to do.
Okay.
So, as for instance, currently we're organizing a class for young girls. Currently, we have about 70% of their students being girls because that's what we're focusing on. So, we have a class where we take them through education in STEM, in leadership, basically skills that they'll need to drive home what we are seeking to promote. So you can charge a subsidized fee to your target population, and eventually that will be used to drive your projects. So I think there's a need. For instance, when I was even registering my social enterprise, so many of the people at RG, they didn't know what social entrepreneurship is.
You mean the Registrar General's department?
Yes. I wanted assistance.
The people in charge of registering the business. They didn't know what business.
The people in charge of selling the forms.
Selling their forms,
yes,
which is a part of registering. They didn't understand what you were doing.
Exactly.
Jesus
so
Christ.
I wanted to know the right form to pick in registering a social enterprise. And I had to troop in and out several days before I actually bought the wrong form, went out, came in, bought another form before I eventually registered the business. So
what did you register as eventually?
As a limited by guarantee.
Okay.
Yeah. So eventually I realized that, so from there I even went to social welfare. From there had to troop in there about 3 different days before I was able to get assistance. So some parts of the country, this is something they're promoting. Industries are targeting societal or environmental needs while generating revenue to drive their projects. So why can't we do that here in our country? A lot of young people out there don't even know what social entrepreneurship is. We need to promote entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship for that matter.
Very, very important and interesting thoughts there. Francisca, I'm coming back to you because, again, with you as well, it comes down to a choice. NS sells food. As for food, people need to eat. But you sell a product where you need to convince the person you are not eating healthily, you are not living healthily, and so you need to do it. How do you go about it?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head. I started this company in 2010, and at that time, people did not get the concept. They understood that you can buy medicines to get healthy, but to pay for a service that teaches you how not to be sick was a problem. But I can say that in 2019, that has changed a lot. People are more aware, people are more careful, and people are actually looking for ways to avoid these chronic diseases. And the challenge has been trying to convince them that, we have a lot of superstition. So sometimes it's like, it runs in the family. My auntie did this to me. My uncle did that to me. So that's a little bit of a challenge. But it's better. It's way better than when we started.
Awesome. I'll come to the specifics of some of these challenges shortly. But Ernest, most businessmen advise that you run a lean enterprise. So it's this famous expression that Airbnb is a hotel system. They don't own a hotel. Uber is a taxi cab hailing service. They don't own taxis. And there's that expression. But I found that because of the limitations of our industry, you've had to spread yourself from production right through to end marketing. How do you manage that wide spectrum of your service?
Yeah, you see, after my documentary with Joy Business, I had
you
a
were on
lot
Joy
of,
Businessman?
yes.
Okay.
I had a lot of people calling me. They wanted to go into it, but you see, when you tell them the challenges involved, they feel like maybe you are preventing them from going in that sector. Here is the thing. Instead of you coming to start from where we are, because there's a lot of breeders out there, right? So why won't you start from, like, let's say, feed production, which we also need, marketing. We need the main problem of pig farmers right now is a central place to sell it, which is the abattoir. We don't even have a bigger abattoir that say they are buying pigs to supply the likes of the mall, the hotels and all of. Hotels call me when I supply, maybe within 1 week, 2 weeks, I don't have any more to supply because they want a special cut, which I don't always have them in volume. You see, and to depend on other farmers, some people are not doing it the way you are doing it. So you get queries from your
customers.
Yes. You see, so I want people to come in the, we can't all start the same, we can't all do the same thing. Nobody has called me to say, what do you do with the pig hair? The hairs from it. People use it for brush, this brush, mascara, is it mascara?
Yes.
The brush,
yes.
yeah. They use it, the blood, they use it for animal feed meals and all of those things. There are so many things. The leather, I think there are shoemakers in this country importing leather from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we have animals here that we can
They
sell.
also use it for coats, isn't it? When you're buying watch.
Yeah.
Will it? Go ahead, please.
You see, so some of these people, especially those of them out there who are already around the skill, like the training, they should go there and learn something about how they can take it to, if they do so and then they come, it will reduce the burden on the average farmer. Because it costs so much. The little I save from selling live pigs, I have to invest it in marketing. And then what I make from marketing are like, the food business and all of those things. I have to send it back in, raising the pigs so they can feed the restaurant. It's a lot of work. You end up like, there's so much work to do.
You don't have liquidity in your business.
Yes.
Because it's so widespread.
You understand? And we are not supposed to be. The same time we could use to do something commercial that will benefit this country, we are using it to do just peasant, something that is, is not, to me, I think,
Ernest is getting very passionate here in studio, and I can understand because I speak with very few people who say that I need competition, because some would say that you're getting someone to compete. Like, I need people to also enter the space because I want to focus my venture, which is something very, very important. And it's a conversation that is continuing as we speak. I have with me in the studio Ernest Kwekwe Sifri Mensah. On the phone line is Francisca Mprichum. Also in studio is Doreen Kofi. We are talking about young businesses, the challenges that they're facing, and the successes they have chalked so far. Before I go ahead, though, when it comes to claims payments, no one does it better than Enterprise Insurance. In the year 2018, they paid more than 53 million Ghana cedis in claims without blinking an eye to thousands of their customers. The same-day claim payments initiative for vehicles is incredible. Last year, more than 2 million Ghana cedis was paid to vehicle owners in under 45 minutes. So with Enterprise Insurance, when it comes to paying your claims, they don't just say it, they actually pay it. Enterprise Insurance, your advantage. Are you a tested and well-resourced sales personnel? A reputable insurance company needs experienced salespersons at tactical and operational levels. Interested and qualified persons to send their CVs to Prosper at CIMG Ghana or at cimghana.org. Prosper at cimghana.org to be engaged. CVs should reach us on or before Friday, April 5, 2019. Limited spaces available to be filled. Call 0244 40 50 10 for further inquiries. 0244 40 50 10. And the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, wishes to bring to the attention of the general public, particularly all self-assessed persons, the following information on annual estimates under sections 1, 2, and 5 of the Income Tax Act 2015 Act 896. A person shall submit to the Commissioner General his annual tax estimates by the due date for the payment of the first tax installments for the year. This means, for example, that all persons whose basis period starts from 1st January to 31st December shall submit to the Commissioner General final their 2019 year of assessment tax estimates by 31st March 2019, the return shall indicate an estimate of the assessable income of the person for the 2019 year of assessment from each employment, business and investment and the source of that income. The estimate shall also indicate the chargeable income and the tax payable for that person of the 2019 year of assessment. The estimate submitted for the 2019 year of assessments remains in force for the whole year unless the person submits a revised estimate together with a statement of reasons for the revision. All taxpayers on self-assessment whose basis period starts from 1st January to 31st December are therefore obliged and required to submit their 2019 year of assessment estimates together with the payment for the first quarter of 2019 to the Commissioner General by 31st March 2019. Annual estimate forms are available on the GRA website, gra.gov.gh. It's 3 minutes past 7. There's no news on top of the hour today. Apologies if you were expecting that. We are wrapping up our conversation with our friends. We will end 10 past 10. We're wrapping up our conversation with our friends here in studio. So, Francisca, I always like to have my guests have an ask. And we've already gone into that a bit. But what do we need to have companies like Perfect Health thrive in Ghana? Hi, Francisca. Okay, let me ask that question of Doreen before I go ahead. And you have already alluded to how you need more education about social entrepreneurs and funding from government, from the people ourselves, from the average Ghanaian. What's your ask?
We need people to support us. I mean, honestly speaking, there are so many times where I'd have to lock up myself in the room and just cry because I wasn't able to do something. Sometimes, you know, this particular person can help you get that little thing you need or that little push you need, but you just won't get it. So if you are around people who are entrepreneurs, what are you doing to assist them or to support or push them? What's the drive that you're giving to them? So support your own people. We have a culture here in Ghana where we don't support our people. I spoke to one very established social entrepreneur and she told me, see, when I was starting up, I focused not on Ghana. And I got people from outside giving me that support I need. So we don't have to wait till we've gotten there before we support our people. Support them while they are still young. And that's where I think Joy FM is doing so well on, bringing in young social entrepreneurs. You're not waiting till they've gotten there or they've become so established. You need to be able to give them that platform or that push they need at this young age. So
right. Oh, well, is the least we could do. But you see, I have a question for you. What do we get in return? What if, I'm a company and my budgets for CSR and advertising and all of that is thinning, it's going down? What does social enterprise or social investment offer in return?
First of all, it depends on the company selecting what angle or what aspect they want to focus on. Mm-hmm. So aside the fact that they are contributing to societal needs by pushing home the vision of these enterprises. Mm-hmm. They are also helping, like I mentioned earlier, helping businesses in Ghana, because eventually it's the whole country that benefits from the economical, the environmental, the social, and trust me, it's an inclusive society. You may think you're only helping them drive their agenda or their vision, but then one thing leads to the other. For instance, if you help me in Heighten Up, eventually women in your organization are going to benefit from it. So it's a cycle. You don't only help me drive home my vision, but you in turn benefit indirectly from it.
Right. Thank you very much, Doreen. But I think that it's a cell that you must begin to focus a bit more on. Okay, if I can be candid. So that, I'll give you a typical example. Okay. I know someone who took a proposal for sponsorship of his program to a telco. Okay. And what sold it for him was he said, look, I'm having this program and I'll sell my tickets via mobile money. That telco badly needed traffic on its Momo. Mm-hmm. And immediately they said, okay, so this is something we can jump on. Yeah. They gave him money. Mm-hmm. So there needs to be a buy-in, because a lot of times we meet social entrepreneurs who don't have a buy-in. Mm-hmm. Who don't have like a mutually beneficial, immediate financial benefits to sponsors. Yeah, so and you want to say something?
Yeah, so it's one thing we take very importantly in Heighten Up. When we are sending out funding or proposals, we look at not only how they are benefiting. For instance, in a funding proposal, you may find something like advertisements of your brand during the program. You could find something like your logo on our website, and people knowing that the organization is benefiting or supporting a project like this alone sells your brand.
It's true. It even makes it more internationally competitive.
Exactly.
You know, studies show that nowadays young people want to work with companies that are investing socially.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to share the last 2 minutes between Francisca and Ernest. Ladies first. Francisca, what does Perfect Health Ghana need?
Basically, we need government to put some more money behind preventive health. The world over, everyone is looking at how to get a healthier population by preventing diseases, not just curing them because it's expensive to cure. And so we want government to put in more money behind preventive health. Also, we want to look at education. You know, these lifestyle habits we pick, in the course of time, and they normally start in childhood. Now we have a lot of childhood obesity in Ghana, young people developing chronic diseases that used to be, for elderly people. Previously had to be like 80 or 90 to be hypertensive. But now, 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds are developing it. So we need some more effort to be put into education, beginning from basic schools. Yes.
What do you think about preventive taxes? So some people, for instance, have a sin tax on some items that, affects the health of people so they can invest in healthcare.
I 100% support it. 100% support it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Francisca Ampechum, for joining us. She's the head of health, Perfect Health Ghana. Finally, Ernest Esiri-Mensah of Menest Farms. Your final words.
Yeah, this is what I want to say here. You see, when it comes to the issue of food or agriculture, it's not a private thing only. It's of the national interest also. My main reason to go in there was to solve the importation problem. You see, I think government is tired of hearing access to funding. They are not giving us anything and all of that. Okay, now, let the government call some of us, the people who are really on the field, put us in the room. Tell us what you want us to do for you. We, the people on the field. Because look at South Africa imported a lot of meat to Nigeria. And we are here in Ghana. I have some stats on my phone. I can send it to you for you to look at. And we are here in Ghana. We are just next door to Nigeria and Togo and all of those things. If we are to produce this thing in commercial basic quantities, we can supply them and then stabilize our city. So let the government call some of us. We, the people on the field who have, I took my own money to go out there to go and train myself. I didn't wait for I don't really expect much from them because they have their own policies, they have their own thing they want to do. Okay. But we all want to solve problem. So if you want to solve problem, we are willing to help them because if you have
get a Ghana beyond aid.
You understand? So when you have millions in your account today and then you are no more in power and the dollar goes up, you don't have that millions anymore. It will depreciate. Why? Okay. Because something was not done properly. Let us help you so you can also meet your target and then our city will be okay, our country will be, will be well known for something. It's like today I'm doing it on my own strength.
Okay.
If I'm not able to do it bigger as I want to, then it means all the effort, all the knowledge I could train other people to also take charge and start exporting and all of to help us, it will go waste. And there's a lot of them in there and they are all complaining. It's like nobody cares and everybody is doing their own thing.
I feel the passion with which Ernest really speaks, and it must be frustrating being in that position. But this is all we have time for today on today's Super Morning Show. Tomorrow, tune in. We have another set of young, enterprising Ghanaians who will amaze you with what they are doing. Let me say a happy birthday to Derek Kofi of Presec Legon. Wishing you all the best in your WASI as well. You're Doreen's brother. So a happy birthday to you. That's it for today's Super Morning Show. My name is Daniel Daze. These are young people who are going out there and they are making a difference. What are you doing? Have a super day. Come on.